This training video will cover ProCalV5. ProCalV5 is a network-ready application. Users may install the database on a central server, and users may have as many individual users as they wish, as well as workstations that can have ProCalV5 on it. The limitation is based on how many users are logged in at the same time. If we log into the application, the first thing you'll notice is the reminder screen pops up, and this feature may be configured for each user to show certain things that you'd like to have calling your attention, such as calibrations coming due in a certain number of days, late work, and more, where you can, if you departmentalize assets, break things down by departmental view, and even further break things down to see the items within the department that is calling your attention. A user may double click on any asset record, where ProCal will launch you right into the record so that you may immediately address whatever is calling your attention. Starting with the company section here on the top left, this is where users may configure the first part of the application on the options tab, such as allowing, warning, or restricting certain things from happening into the application. If users would like other users to review their work, you may select this check mark where users cannot finalize calibrations that they've entered so that other people may have to review and approve the work, as well as some other business rules and practices that again our users may set up based off your company's workflows and practices. On the Additional Information tab, you may set up such things as default values and font colors, as well as statuses. And in ProCal, you can have as many statuses as you want. You can call them whatever you want, and every asset that you manage can have a status defined to it. ProCal also allows you the ability to add an unlimited number of additional fields to the application such as linked files, drop-down lists, text fields, signature capturing fields, and more, as well as the ability for each user to add an unlimited number of unique notes, and every time a note is entered, it'll capture who entered it, the date and time stamp, as well as the note that they put into the system. On the File menu, Group Records section is where users may manage the users that they want to put into the system, and the way ProCal manages this is through what we call user groups. In an example database here, we have our user groups broken down by departmental listings. However, this may be set up for departments, named users, or however else you wish to manage your users. All you have to do is assign a name to the user group, and it can be a single person or a group of people, where you can define the access levels. Does this person or people have system-wide, company, or approval accessibility? And for each one of these record types along the left-hand side, you may customize and control the record access for no access to the record, read-only, add, modify, or full privilege of delete, so that you can control and customize what these people can do, as well as configure the reminder screen based off the user for calibrations due in a certain number of days, or any other reminder type here on the right-hand side. And all you have to do is simply select it or not, and the software will automatically start reminding you. Next thing we will cover is managing the assets you will calibrate, which are what we call the instruments section. And as an example, these are some sample assets in the database that we have. A pretty common example would be a micrometer. And in ProCal, we allow you to have an unlimited number of assets. Every asset gets its own unique asset ID that you define. It can be any combination of letters and numbers up to 32 characters, and you may add a brief or detailed description. You can also add such things as manufacturer, model number, serial number, department information, and more, as well as calibration schedules that you see here on the right. You can have as many as you want. You can call them whatever you want, and every schedule can have its own unique day interval that it takes place on, and based off the schedule and the last date of calibration, the software can automatically calculate the next due date for calibration. Furthermore, for the items that you'll calibrate, you'll want to manage the calibration specifications, and in ProCal we allow you the ability to personalize the calibration specifications based on each asset. And in ProCal we realize that you may do multiple tests for each asset, which is where we allow you to put in multiple test point groups for each asset. In this particular micrometer example, I'm doing a 5-point accuracy check. I'm also doing a 3-point flatness or parallelism test, and I may also be doing a 1-point length standard test where you can define your own set of signal types. These are examples, range values, correlations to output, stated accuracies, and more, and ProCal will calculate all of the variables for you. On the next tab for the additional information, you can manage more information such as location to building hierarchies, who's responsible, physical locations or asset costs, and more. You may also manage vendors who sell or service anything. And as an example, if Prime Technologies had sold you this micrometer and you wanted to purchase a new one, all you have to do is list your vendors from the drop-down list, select the company, and you could contact the salesperson. Additionally, you can manage documentation associated with calibration in ProCal, such as user manuals, calibration instruction, SOPs, and work instructions and more. And I'll show that in just a moment, but once you've created a document in ProCal, you can create the associations that they have with each asset. Additionally, if we flip to one other record here, where we have a good example, you can click on this speed button to show the history, and ProCal will tell you right off the bat any calibrations that were ever done to the asset record. As well as from an auditing perspective, you can show the events to an auditor or anybody else for each individual item. And as an example, let's say we wanted to see what we did to this in the past couple of years. You can hit refresh, and ProCal will tell you every single thing that you did, from a calibration event, a status update, a location change, and more. And you may also feel free to print this here, right here on the bottom. The next section we'll cover is documents, and in the document section in ProCal will manage any kind of document you want, and as an example we'll pick a procedure, and you can put in document IDs, revision numbers, and document names, and you can also have any type of document that you want because it's user defined. And ProCal will also keep effective and expiration dates. ProCal will also manage both paper and electronic documentation. From paper, we will manage the location to building hierarchy and the physical location it's in. From the electronic perspective, we will manage it in two ways. First of which is through this linked file, and all you have to do is choose the file path or the website. And if you'll notice, it says double click to open, and all you have to do is double click and ProCal will launch it. And it can be anything such as a PDF, an Excel spreadsheet, a Word doc, a website, or anything else. You may also embed your procedures right into the application by copying and pasting or typing, but ProCal will also manage the review schedules for any of your documents, as with any quality calibration program. ProCal will also manage the test standards you have, which are the items you use to calibrate other assets with, and we will manage as many as you want. And as an example, if we just select a pretty common example here of a gauge block set, you'll notice you can keep IDs, descriptions, general information, as well as calibration schedules, but ProCal also will allow you to keep track of the third-party company that you use to calibrate your test standards for the date they were sent out and the date they were returned. You may also establish what each test standard can be used to calibrate, so that in this particular example, this gauge block set can only be used to calibrate calipers, gauges, and micrometers and nothing else. And as an example, if your technician was doing a oven calibration, this gauge block set would not be an available test standard to use. All calibration activity is documented on the calibration record here. And this is an example of a temperature indicator calibration that we had previously done. The top half of the information is what's preloaded from the master record when you select it, and it will give you the information you need, like the model number, serial number, and so forth. The bottom information is what's input when you do the calibration. You may input temperature and humidity data if you keep it, as well as who did the calibration, how long it took, and if it failed, why. And for the calibrations you do yourself, on the test results section, all your technician has to do is record the found as and left as readings, and ProCal will automatically tell you if you are in or out of tolerance. And as an example of that, maybe you forgot to put in the decimal point on this last reading. You'll notice that before I do anything else, the software automatically turned that to red, giving me the visual indication that that is an out of tolerance reading. Calibrations may also be marked as adjusted to improve, passed, failed, or incomplete. On the next tab for test standards, this is where you can document which test standards were used in the calibration for reverse traceability purposes. For the next tab on SOPs, your technician may review the SOP before or during the calibration, so that, as an example, if they needed to see the procedure, it's embedded right here, or your linked file is right here, and they can get to the procedure. For the items that you outsource and you get a calibration certificate back, Users may attach the calibration certificate right to the record to document a calibration took place for the asset, rolling the dates forward, as well as managing the calibration certificates if an auditor ever needed to see it. If you click right here, ProCal will give you a report preview and give you your calibration cert with your company's name, calibration details, found as, left as, the deviation percentage, and did it pass or fail. We'll also document which test standards were used, did it pass or fail, and who did it. Up here on the top left, you can print your reports or you can export them to PDF, HTML, Excel, Word, text, CSV, tab separated, and more. With standard reports included in ProCal, you get alert reporting, calibration reporting such as calibration labels or test point trending or test point analysis. You can do a company recall report, instrument-related reports for interval analysis, or if you'd like to print worksheets. If you just want a simple inventory report, you can click Inventory and hit Preview, and ProCal will give you your inventory report. Another report that's included is our test standard reverse traceability report. If you ever have a problem with a test standard, such as when it was sent out, it was repaired, you'd probably need to know where it was used. So all you have to do is say, show me where that gauge block set was used in a date range or not, and if you hit Preview, ProCal will tell you every single calibration that ever took place for the test standard in that date range or not, so that you can review those calibrations. The next method of reporting that we have is actually on our records here, and it's this button here on the top right for Advanced Query. And as an example, let's say you wanted to get a review of everything that had an annual calibration. All you have to say is show me the calibration schedules that are equal to annual. You would add it and execute, and the software at a click of a button will give you a list of everything that has an annual calibration. You may also redefine your search by going back in and saying, I need the building it's in, maybe department they're associated with, let's say the next date due for calibration, as well as the status of each one of these devices. Where you can reassign other fields to display in your query, click Execute, and at a click of a button the software will give you your data, where right here you can right click and save it to Excel, text, or print it as another means of providing reports. Any search may be saved by clicking the Save button and providing a name for it, and when your search is saved, it will be available in your drop-down list here, so all you have to do is execute. The next feature in ProCal that we're going to cover is the ProCal Explorer right here, and this is a Windows Explorer type view of the application. And as an example, let's say you wanted to get a list of everything you had, ProCal will give it to you in an alphabetical listing. You'll notice in this particular list, many of the items in my database have a red exclamation point. This is an item overdue for calibration, so the software can provide another visual indication. You may click on one, and ProCal will also give you a brief synopsis on the bottom, but you may right-click and enter the calibration if you know it's needed, or open the record. And if you open the record, you may also see that you may assign things to people, and you may want to double check on people doing their work. So in ProCal, we have the ability for you to say, show me the responsible list, and you can look at your technicians and see who is doing and not doing their work. As another example, you may also view things in a work due by locations, departments, monthly schedules, manufacturers list, and more, so that you can adequately view the information in your application. ProCal also comes with a paperback copy of the user manual. The user manual is also embedded electronically in the application on the online help section right here. ProCal also has this JPEG image in our database of this logo. It may be swapped out with any logo you want, like a corporate logo or a picture of your facility or anything else. Users may also change the skins menu, so if you don't like metal, there's over 20 that you can choose from. Just a touch of personalization you can add to your application. That is pretty much ProCal in a nutshell. We would welcome you to visit our website at www.primetechpa.com, or you can give us a call at 610-436-9703. Thank you for your participation.